Good morning, Turfs Up Radio. Wayne Vos, Profits Unlimited, coming to you live from Louisville, Kentucky. Yes, indeedy. We have a pretty warm, humid morning going on here in Louisville today. And my goodness, we'll see how the day pans out. But started out with some thunderstorms this morning. And you know what? Hey, well, we got the Wednesday with no rain. So there you go. There you go. We had a good Monday and Tuesday production wise. And I don't know. We just decided today to pull the trigger on not going out and making applications in this window that we've got. We've got about a 5 hour window, give or take a little bit. So I don't know. I just thought, you know what, with the wind, we got the tornado watch, which I was just getting ready to say it's not a big deal. It is a big deal. But I mean, there's lots of times when they're out with tornado watches. But just with the wind, we got pretty sustained winds out there. And even though we're using a granular product, still we don't, 30, 40 mile an hour winds is probably not idea situation for what we want to be doing right now. So we just decided to pull the trigger on those applications today, and we'll hit it hard again, hopefully tomorrow and Friday. And first thing I want to do, man, is just thank God that we're all alive today. Looking down on woke up and looking down on grass because there was a pretty significant weather that northern part of Illinois up around Kankakee, tornadoes and large tornadoes. And I know there's been other areas of the country that have already started experiencing, that type of weather. And potentially we're going to have some pretty good straight line winds here in our region of the country later on today. So we'll see how that pans out. But you guys all be safe wherever you're at. And hopefully, everybody is spared from that. But they had some pretty wide, long track, strong tornadoes yesterday. I think they said, some of the wind speeds were in excess of 150 and half-mile wide tornadoes and whatnot. So I didn't reach out to my buddies at BAM to try to get them on today. I know they'd be just extremely rocking and rolling, busy with everything they got going, trying to keep the weather all straight. So, anyways, we'll see if we can't get them on. Maybe we'll see what Friday's looking like and see if they want to hop on with us. If Matt or Brett wants to hop on with us, I know it's always great to get them on and get their opinion on, what it's looking like regionally. And I know they always try to do their best at helping us. And kind of funny, we'll see. I mean, it was 73 this morning here in Louisville, which the only good thing that's going to keep that from being a record, let's see, a record high low. Yeah, that's the way to say it. A record high low is because that cold front that's coming through later this afternoon and evening here, it's gonna drop temperatures pretty significantly. So that'll be, whatever it ends up between now and midnight will be our official low. So anyways, you guys know what I'm trying to say. I'm not a weatherman. Easy, easy. I'm not a weatherman. So, but anyways, we'll see. The weather's crazy, and it looks like a pretty significant snow event for the upper Midwest potentially coming through this weekend and Sunday, and we'll see. Or Monday, we've even got some snow rolling through here coming up Monday. Snow showers. So we'll see. Well, I'm sure Bam would keep us up to date on that, but I don't think it's going to be anything we're going to have to deal with here from an accumulation standpoint. And unfortunately, I mean, I'd love to have to go. I'd love to get a salt plow salt in. That'd be great to get rid of some material, but I just don't foresee that happening. But yeah, if it does, we're ready. We got trucks, plows, spreaders, and more than enough margarita salt out there. So I don't know. Based on all this material that we're carrying over this year, we're probably going to have a big old ice cream social and What do you think, Daniel? That'd be a pretty good idea. We'd have a big ice cream
Cinco de
social
Mayo, we could have margaritas,
and have margaritas with
salt on the
so
rim.
yeah, salt on the rim, and uh, we got colored salt. So I mean, we can do blue, we can do brown, we can do white. Just whatever their flavor is. And heck yeah, man. So what when's that? May 5th.
5th,
May 5th.
Cinco de Mayo.
Yeah. So we'll see. So he we may be the good stewards of good faith and fortune. So to help out doing ice cream socials, we'll supply the salt for the ice cream socials this summer. We'll see how it does. Yeah, true that. True that, buddy. Guided tours of the great salt mines at WLS. So, but that's all right. You know what? I am not going to bitch about it and complain about it. I'm not. We were fortunate enough to get every single pound of material that we early ordered and ordered after the fact, you know. So, I want to thank our suppliers for that, and for keeping us rocking and rolling and stocked at a level that we want it to be stocked at. So we're looking forward to probably not getting any more of that going, but hey, next year we'll be set up really nicely with materials. So that's how we're going to go along. That's how we're going to go with that this year. And if anybody in our region would like material, just to have some, or anybody listening to us that may need some for this upcoming event and you don't have any, we would be happy to load you up if you'd like to come down here. And, if you'd like a triaxle full, we can load you. If you'd like a hopper full, we can, come down here and we'll fill up your 2, 3, 4, 5 yard hopper for you. So whatever you need, we'll be happy to accommodate. So, and other than that, it's just going to live here at WLS. So, anyways, yeah, and we're not going to get into, well, that was bad management, ending up with that much material. That's not going to be our discussion today, because we're not going to talk about snow today other than what we're doing right this second. So, good morning, Seth. Appreciate you listening to us, my friend. Appreciate you listening to us. And our condolences go out to your young friend there, Seth. So, um, anyways, that's what's going on. WLS is kind of in a Katie's sick today. She evidently had a bad night, so I know there's a little bit of crud going around, and so Katie's not with us today. So we're going to try to not burn the fort down today, and I wish her the best of recovery and good luck. Hopefully, she gets a little sleep today, but she normally recovers pretty quick. So uh, she's been been doing a lot, maybe working out a lot. Maybe her resistance was a little bit low. So who knows? But hey, and I know I've been talking to a few other people that kind of had the creepy crud going along, and I know last week I did. Y'all had to bear me trying to cough and hack up a lung and everything else trying to do my show. So um, we made it. We made it. So, but anyways, hey, we're gonna take a short break here, and we will be right back. Man, we got a few things we're going to talk about today that may influence profitability. And I had a fun thing going on yesterday. I was going to talk with Katie about it today, but since she's not here, I think I'll save it for Friday. But yeah, I do want to give Katie a shout out and hope she gets feeling better. But I also want to give our team a shout out for getting quite a few property serviced the last 2 days. We threw quite a bit of resource toward pre-emergence Monday, Tuesday, and we got quite a few lawns were treated. We're underway pretty well on getting that pre-emerge down. So, like I said, we're not making applications today, but we'll certainly be back at it tomorrow and Friday. So, um, but I do want to give our team a big shout out for a job well done the last 2 days on, getting properties done, getting kicked off here, if you will, at WLS, and all the good things that we do to get the season started. Curious, curious to know how you guys are doing. How's your season going? You got kicked off yet, or you getting ready to, or what's it looking like for you? And as I'm waiting for a couple of those texts to come in from you guys, want to give a big shout out to Kyle and Katie for setting up several new accounts. I think we had I don't know, 3 or 4 the last couple of days that they've put on, and Kyle's working diligently on quite a few different landscape projects that he's put on in the last 7 days, 5 to 7 days. So big shout out to them. Quite honestly, I'll share with you guys. I'm 0 for 3 the last 2 days, so I know it's going to get better though. I know it's going to get better. I've I don't know if I'm just and this is not an excuse, okay? I just want everybody to know that this is not an excuse. I'm not being excuse oriented on this. I'm just saying that I've been ghosted on my follow ups, you know. So I don't know. Maybe they're throwing me the leads that don't look too good. I don't know. Maybe think so, Daniel.
Maybe there's some conspiracy there.
Think there's a conspiracy theory there going on. You know, it's like, okay, so we have. Let's send these to Dad. Less likely to buy anything. Send these to Wayne Vose. Yeah, these go into his inbox. So no, I don't think they're doing that. But I am 0 for 3. That's no lie. Corey said he just got a leaf cleanup scheduled. Yay, you go, Corey. There you go, buddy. Hey, it makes you feel good, man, when you start scheduling that work up, you know, and getting that work on the books. And yeah, I mean, it's even better once it's done and it's billed and paid. I get it, but it's really good, you know. You see those sales coming in, you know. It's, hey, man, that one sold, and then you got me bringing the percentages down for everybody. But hey, it's all a numbers game, is what it amounts to in sales, and just keep putting it out there. I share that story with me the last 2 days, going 0 for 3, just from the standpoint of knowing that, you know, I might get 3 for 3 today, you know, so it all works out. So you can't get frustrated. You can't get down on yourself. But speaking of getting down a little bit, fuel cost, I saw a couple different gas stations where fuel actually came down about 4 5 cents a gallon. So we'll see what that's like. I mean, who knows? You know, the overall per barrel cost went from 120 I saw to about 90, give or take $1 on either side of that. So we'll see. We'll see. It never goes down as fast as it goes up. That's for sure, and it never has, never will. I think it never will. That'll be, you know, I don't use the words always and never, but very often. But um, I've never seen it drop 25 cents in a day, but I've certainly seen it go up 25 cents in a day. So, anyways, it is what it is. So, let's see what we got here. Seth says they're not wide open yet, but the water's starting to warm up. Yeah, true, it is. Uh, Down to $77 a barrel. Cool. I haven't seen that. So, you know, it's going in the right direction. So I hope we see some of this belly aching going on all the social media platforms uh, about fuel cost. Maybe that'll slow down a little bit. But on the other hand, maybe they'll check out my podcast for Monday. And for you guys in the Profit Circle, we got another aspect of that coming in the Profit Circle as well. But if not, be sure to join us in the Profit Circle. But also check out our podcast from Monday here on Turfs Up Radio, where we talked about this exact thing and how that, you know, fuel cost is a portion of your operating cost, but certainly not the only thing we got to consider. you know. And but I'm not going to reiterate that whole thing. We spent an hour on it Monday, but check that podcast out, and I think you'll like it, and hopefully it turns a light or two on for you. And like I said, the whole idea of that was to just turn a whole light on each and every expense you have is equally as important as fuel cost. That's just the reality of it. So that's all we're going to beat that horse today with. But yeah, it was good to see it go down a little bit, and hopefully, it keeps tracking in that direction for us. And but who knows? It may go up, back up a little bit, and down, but who knows where it's going to end up? But for now, we're on a downward sling a little bit, I think, in most markets. So we'll see how that progresses along. But with that being said, I want to talk about a couple funny stories. I don't know how big you guys are onto uh, gift cards, but the other day, Sunday, we were going up to a birthday party with Tabitha, and needed a gift card. And so we drove through McDonald's to get a gift card. Daniel, this is a true story. You might get a kick out of this.
All right.
And I mean, you go to like Walgreens or CVS or your food stores, and I know they're different names all over the country, but they got all the gift cards, right? And and it's no problem to buy gift cards. Well, evidently it's a little bit of a situation to get a gift card uh, at McDonald's. We tried a couple different McDonald's before it was easy. The people working the cash register didn't know how to process their gift card to sell you a gift card. They could take a gift card, but they didn't know how to generate the gift cards. That makes sense, through the
Yeah.
cash register. So, anyways, we finally stopped at one on between here and Frankfort, Kentucky, and they handled it quite diligently. But two of them right here in Louisville had a problem with trying to figure out how to do a gift card. So I share that with you for this reason and this reason only, not to call out McDonald's, because I'm sure, proper training goes a long way, but I think really what it boils down to is within your own business, you know, can you handle the little things, Uh, that he remembers getting McDonald's bucks in his stocking as a kid. God, I don't remember that.
Huh.
McDonald's bucks. Damn.
I don't know what that is.
Yeah, I don't either, man. We're gonna have to look that one up. That's pretty neat. So McDonald's bucks. That is really cool. For some reason I want to say I think I remember, but I honest to God, I really don't think I do. But anyways, uh, within your own business, try to keep it easy. And you keep it easy by understanding what you do and how you do it and why you do it, and that's the reality of it. And that's kind of what we're into here at WLS. These last couple days too was just making sure all of our equipment's good, all of our trucks are good. Matter of fact, we took a couple trucks in for some service and dropped them off today, and then we dropped one off yesterday at my buddy out there in Bardstown, Tim Hamilton at TH Welding and Hydraulics. And if anybody in this region that needs any welding or hydraulics, these guys do it. They do it well. They're affordable and very, very good at what they do. And if you have to go back, it's because you forgot something. Let me put it that way. They get it right the first time, and it's because they got competent help is what it amounts to. So that's what it amounts to. So I hate to say that they're perfect because nobody's perfect, but they get it right the first time for you. And like I said, unless it's something you didn't tell them you need it done or want it done, uh, they get it done. Let's put it that way. So, but to that point, It's time, when Seth joking about it, saying the water's beginning to warm up a little bit. Now's the time to make sure that you're ready to go 100%. And make sure that equipment's good. Check your trailers, right? Don't forget about the trailers, the tires, the air pressure. Make sure the tread's decent on your tires, uh, and check the inside of the trailer tires, right? Okay. And make sure your lights are working. It's always fun. Trailer lights are always exciting. We'll just call it that, right? But now's the time to do that. Before things get off the hook, the last thing you want to be doing on game days trying to figure out about your lights and getting your lights to work. So Matt checked all those here for us, and everything is functioning. We had 2 trucks that were out that we need to hook up just to make sure, but all the trailers are good. And your new registrations for the year, be sure to get those out and about. And it's time to, you know, time to get your new tags and pay your property tax and get that all done. Get that done. Get it out of the way. You know, um, so yeah, it's about getting equipment ready, getting your trailers ready, getting your trucks ready, employees ready, uh, uniforms, that whole thing. It's just getting properly prepared to start. Then when you kick off, whenever your kickoff is, for us, it's probably going to. Some of our properties will be serviced next week. All of them will be serviced the following week. That's our kickoff. But I mean, it's different for everybody. But the point is, just be ready, be professional, look good when you go out, get your equipment washed and ready to go, trucks and equipment. Um, I don't know. Not everybody has a power washer, but everybody can put their trucks on a trailer and go to the car wash who has got a power washer and clean your equipment. Make sure it looks good and keep it looking good. Uh, take a little pride. Take a little pride in what you got going on and keeping that equipment clean. It goes a long way. More people see your truck, trailer, and equipment than any form of advertising you will ever do. And for you guys that say you don't do any, that's fine too. But you do ride around with your truck and trailer and your equipment on there. So keep it clean. Take pride in keeping it clean and looking professional. It goes back to, if you look professional and you act professional, you'll get paid professionally. You know, but and God, that takes me to something that I wasn't even going to talk about today. It just popped in my mind. But my God, some of you guys that I see on social media, you just got to take a little more pride in yourself and what you look like. I mean, and these aren't just profile pictures. These are videos you guys are doing. You just need to clean yourself up a little bit. And I say that professionally, you know, you just, it's probably a bad thing to say on the radio, but it's the reality of it. You know, uh, I, I don't care what length your hair is. I don't care what kind of beard you got. I don't care anything about what you do or tattoos, or I don't care about any of that. I'm just saying whatever you do and however you do it, just make it look professional. Just make yourself look professional. Because if you don't look professional, you are the first line of sight for anybody that potentially is going to work for you and with you, meaning clientele, you know, and that's the reality of it. And I just want you to take a realistic self evaluation and ask yourself, you know, do you think you look professional? Do you think you look professional? And if your answer is yes to that, then okay. Because it doesn't matter what I think or the next person thinks. It's what you think initially. But then, secondly, the demographics of the clientele that you're going after, it's important what they think, you know? So, I'm not saying you got to look like the Texaco man or you got to be a pretty boy, but I am saying that, and you guys know exactly what I'm talking about. looking professional and acting professional goes a long way toward being a professional. And it's up to you. You can do what you want to do, but that's just a kind of a sidebar to what we're talking about today. But the reality of it is sometimes we don't work on ourselves hard enough, so therefore we can't work on our business hard enough, and we're wondering why we're struggling or why we're not doing as well as we could do. Maybe you're not struggling at all, but maybe you'd sit back and think, damn, I'd really like to do a little better, or I'd like to do this, or I'd like to do that. And maybe it goes back to the basics of professional results and daily efforts. Pride, that acronym for pride, professional results and daily efforts. And that's something that my dad came up with many, many years ago. And we liked it. We implemented it. It's on our website. And there's two things we do here at Wayne's Lawn Service well. And that is we have pride in what we do and we show up. And both of those things are direct correlations to our success and profitability. Because if we show up, our customers are happy. If we take pride in what we're doing, our customers are going to generally be happy. Are we going to make everybody happy all the time? No. But again, what's that goal? The goal is excellence, not perfection. So if we can take pride in what we're doing, professional results and daily efforts, and we show up to do the work and we look professional, right? Then those are the pieces of the puzzle that when one of those is removed, if you don't look professional, if you're not showing up and you don't have pride in what you're doing, you remove any one of those three and you're going to have a problem. That's just the reality of it. So that'd be a good discussion, Daniel, quite honestly, those three things. So yeah, what was it? Pride, professionalism. Yeah. So look professional, act professional, be paid professionally. Just that simple. So with that being said, hey, we're up on a break. We're going to take a break. And when we come back, we're going to talk about two things I pulled off social media that I think are relevant to a whole lot of us and how we can go about, if we're in that same situation, we fix it or we change it. And maybe you're not in that situation, but we'll talk about that when we come back. Stay tuned. Gentleman, young guy, I would assume. And you know what happens when you use the word assume, though, right? But anyway, we'll talk about that here in a minute, too. But young man put up a thing. He said, and his name's Austin. And Austin made a great comment. He said, hey, I started my lawn business this year. I love it, but I'm also learning so much. He said, I've sold myself short. I sold myself short. I would have the business, however, I made very little profit after equipment maintenance and the whole 9 yards. My question is this: how do I bid better? I feel $75 an hour is fair for my area. Okay, so here's where the post is starting to go sideways. I feel $75 an hour is fair for my area. Well, first of all, the area doesn't matter, Austin. The area does not matter. What matters is what are your costs per hour of operation? And I know we talk about it all the time, but hey, we're here to help. And that's the reality of it. So just to say, well, $75 an hour is fair for my area, there's a lot wrong with that. Who's it fair for? Is it fair for your customers? Is it fair for, who's it fair for? Oh my God. That's funny. Mike, we think a lot alike, buddy. But looky there. We got the McDonald's Bucks pictures. Yes, indeedy. There you go. But Mike, the answer is fair for who? It doesn't matter what you think's fair, and it really doesn't matter what the client thinks fair. Because if you understood, Austin, and that's what, hey, we got to get you here on Turfs Up Radio to let you hear the reality of running your business, whether it's a one truck show or a multi crew company. The reality of it is, it's not what's fair. That's what's wrong. That mindset is why you just are struggling and getting by. That's why the failure rate's so high for our industry, is because we try to think about what's fair for our area rather than what's it cost me to do the job and what return on investment do I want. You know, he went on to say I struggle with what to charge. I don't know why, but I do. Well, I can tell you why, because you don't know what you don't know, right, Daniel? I mean, that's just it.
Yeah.
He just doesn't know what he doesn't know. And the real question is, how do you fix it? And there's multiple ways of fixing it, you know. But what you got to do is understand first that you're not making any money, which he seems to have an understanding on pretty well at this point. He realizes he's not making a profit, but now he says, "Hey, I'm trying to stay within a certain range to be fair in my market." And then he moves along to say in this same conversation, this post, right? And this is common, Daniel, for most everybody. He said, "My work speaks for itself, and I always make the yard look the best I can." I've never heard anybody say I do crappy work.
Yeah.
Everybody always says, "Hey, I do great work." And you should think you do great work. I'm not calling that out. I'm saying, hey, your work speaks for itself. Your work is easy to speak for itself because you get the job done right. It's your pricing that needs to speak for yourself. And the only way to get that right is to understand. And yeah, we're talking about it again today, but it is because it's that time of the year, you know? It's that time of the year when a lot of you guys are out bidding jobs. You're looking at yourself and saying, "Damn, I didn't do as well as I wanted to do last time around the sun. So what can I do different? But I still want to remain competitive." And there's a difference between remaining competitive, remaining fair, and the value of the service that you're offering. And it all starts with knowing what your costs are. You know, throwing a lot of guys say, "Well, hey, what do you want to make? What's your truck payment? What's your lawnmower payment? Add it all up, divide it by X number of hours that you're going to work in a year, and that's your cost." That's a very elementary and crude way of doing it. It beats doing nothing, but it's not going to be as accurate as sitting down and calculating what you need to charge based on your overhead, your use rates, and your desired profit, you know? And he goes on to say, what it's like. I know what it's like. And he's taking this, Daniel, here's something crazy. He's taking it from his customer's perspective. I know what it's like to barely make ends meet, so I tried to consider that for my customers.
Yeah, this is all the wrong directions.
Yes. I mean,
I
we
mean,
could.
what are you really saying there? I know what it's like to not make ends meet, so I want to not make ends meet in my business. Like, so then what? What is the chain of events that occurs because of that? And then somebody else feels bad because you can't make ends meet within your business, so you don't have enough money to pay your bills. So then they feel bad, so then they don't charge enough, so then their business goes under, then they don't have enough to like what's the logical like I don't think people actually think about what they believe or what they say through. I don't think they think
Right.
it through or play it out.
Right. I agree 100%.
Oh, I think I need to be fair to my customers and only charge this amount. But also in the same line of thinking, I'm not making money. So why is that fair?
Yeah. What makes that fair?
Fair is both sides winning. Fair is equal, like equal weight on both sides. One side does not have an advantage over the other. In this case scenario, that's not fair because your customers who are you are undercharging have an advantage over you to where they're getting something and you're not getting something.
And you just think that you're being fair to them, helping them afford something
Yeah.
that you're offering, but it's below what
What
you need to have.
what you need to see is that you are allowing your customers to take advantage of you.
Right.
That's the
That,
only thing that's happening. It's not about that's not what fair is.
right. And, I think the biggest thing that goes back to that, and if you guys are just now tuning in, I want to read that one line out of his post again. And again, I'm not making fun of Austin. If you're one of our listeners, man, this is just professional help, is what it is. And, but, he says, I know what it's like to barely make ends meet. So I try to consider that for my customers as well.
Which is
You know,
perfectly fine as long as you have met your what word am I looking for here?
when you
The
understand your
minimum
cost, your break
break
even,
even point. Like if you want to go out and do it for, break even and just basically run a charity and be happy with your life and not lose the money and not you're not gaining much but you're not losing anything, then that's one route to go. That's a route,
yeah.
but at least you're not losing. Then there's at least a tiny a percentage of fairness in that.
Right. And here's something else that, again, I think he seems like a very conscientious person. And here, this next comment that I read to you guys, you'll see that again. But again, it's not a business mindset. Okay. He goes on to say, I clear my throat. My Paul, I assume his dad or his grandpa, one of the two, always told me to take care of others and they will take care of you. That is absolutely not true in business. 100%, Austin. 100% not true. Do not run your business with that mindset. If you take care of somebody else, they'll take care of you, because that is not true. That's not something that you can use as a business model. Okay. Yes, you can be
You
the
can't rely on other people to take care of you if you're not taking care of yourself.
correct.
That's you can say, "Oh, I think people are good, but first I need to set up my thing in a good way, and then I'm going to help people out because I have things set up to where I can do it, and I'm going to help my employees out when I can. I'm going to help my customers out by giving them great advice and charging them, a price there where I can win and they can win. Like all those things are still true, and even more true when you know what you should be charging, and when you don't let the and I don't know if this is someone from a small town, but this is very much a small town mentality of my market, blah blah blah, and
Right. It's
I grew
fair.
up and I know everybody, and I don't feel right, because I feel like I'm taking advantage of somebody by getting a higher price than the kid down the street that does it who's in eighth grade, and like,
Yeah.
and that can happen in New York City. It can happen in the middle of New York State. It doesn't matter where you are, but you have to get out of that. Not the mindset of it's good to be a good person and think about others, but the mindset of I have to let other people take advantage of me in order to be a good person.
To be a good person. Fred makes that same point here. He said a lot of owners have major misconceptions of how their customers view them. Most likely, the mindset is made up of his head, not theirs.
100%. Yeah, I would agree with that.
I would too, 100%. That's what I said, Daniel, back to him. 100%. It goes back to, what we think as owners sometimes is really not the right perception, but it's a perception that we create in our own mind. And we had a gentleman here in our office a few days ago with that problem, that we were doing some consulting with, that had that mindset of, hey, it's, I think this, I think that. But the reality of it was, we got to drill down on what the issue is and then go out and find the right client. And to Fred's point, what you think your client's thinking a lot of times is not really what they're thinking,
Yeah.
you know?
And also, like, this kind of goes back to the beginning of what he was saying about like being fair and not feeling right at charging a certain price potentially and blah blah blah. But like if that's truly what you believe and you also know slash believe that you are not making any profit and are obviously in a place of concern because you're asking around about how to do better, why are you like if someone gives you the advice that says, here's how to fix it, here's how it's going to work and why it's going to work. Here's why what you're doing is not going to work. And obviously it's not because you just, told us that it isn't working. If that person is not going to be accepting of a solution, then why is that person in business? It's like, okay, yeah, I wanted to start a business because, all the good things I hear about it and I love doing the work and blah, 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 but it's not working and I don't want to charge more because I feel bad and blah, blah, blah. So what you're really saying is, I'm just going to keep doing this until I can literally no longer financially afford to do it and I'm in a worse place, but I'm going to do it anyway.
But you don't change. That's right. You don't want to go through the pain of change because you think somebody's going to have a different thought about you.
And if that, like, if your market, if you in your mind and even in reality, let's just say your market truly will not support your business, why are you still in business?
That's right. Why are you doing what you're doing in the market you're trying to do it? It's the same reason you don't see certain things in certain markets. You know, I
Yeah.
mean, and what I mean by whether it's restaurants or whether it's car dealerships or whether it's whatever it is, fill in the blank. Let's think of
I
something
mean,
quickly.
Louisville has a Macy's. They don't have a Gucci store, right? They don't have a Lamborghini dealership. We don't have there's just not enough people to support that. But they don't come into town and say, you know what, I want to be in business so bad. I'm just going to make it work until I go out of business.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. And and he ends this up with something very positive. He said at at the same time, this is my business. I'm still learning. I know that I got to make a profit to grow. Any advice is much appreciated. And then you can imagine where the comments went. So we're not even getting into that because it's just common fodder at
Yeah.
that point. But about, well, $75 is a good hourly rate and blah blah blah, and just solid advice is hard to come by. Let me just say that, Austin. But gosh, and then when I put on there, hey, check out Turfs Up Radio, or check out the Profit Circle, boom, it gets knocked off by the admin.
Mm-hmm.
You try to give somebody some legitimate help, and not just personal opinion, you know, then that's knocked off. So, but good luck, Austin's all I got to say, and hopefully you got to see my post and where I invited you to Turfs Up Radio for some solid advice from different show hosts that can help you, with your business. Here's a good comment here. It says the line between empathy and sympathy is often equal to the line of profit and loss in business. And I've not thought about that away, but
Yeah.
that is really, really a good point there.
Yeah. You definitely have to have, or it's good to have the empathy, right? The ability to connect and the ability to understand what someone's going through, especially as a business, without crossing the line into, oh, well, they had this happen in their life, so I'm just going to cut their grass for free for the rest of the year.
Right. And that is very, very good point. And I'm gonna remember that because that is a very valid point. Let's see. Corey says car dealerships are a lot of times on bus lines. Obviously, I never thought about it, but hey, or maybe that puts them in markets too that are two things. One, they can afford it, and one, hey, man, if somebody needs transportation, they're going to take a bus there to get one, but they're going to get there to get it. So, Mike says there definitely needs to be a reward. So the yeah, because too many times we work hard, not smart. So Austin, good luck with that one. One other one that I want to roll through.
Before we even move past that, just as like general,
All right,
just to Austin in particular, but to anyone out there, if you feel like you need or want to do something helpful for your community or for people around you or whatever, do that and then go work for somebody else too. Like, okay, I'm going to spend my weekends cutting grass for free because I like to do it and I want to help people, right? But I'm not going to then go open up a business and do that for free or for,
right.
whatever cost.
Go help the little old lady on Social Security.
Go help people on your free time, but then go earn what's actually fair living working for someone else. There's no sense in running your own self into the ground, helping other people.
Yes, because of that empathy sympathy line. And that's really is what it boils down to. And I can feel Austin's pain on that, man. I used to be the same way. You know, that was something here, when my brother Corky was here, that was one thing I had to get him by in sales. You know, he thought he got into the consumer's mindset of what what was a fair price and what was affordable, you know. And that was one thing that, he had to work on here, and me too, quite honestly, at first, was the concept of knowing, until you know what it costs you to do and what you got to have, you do get into the consumer's mind a little bit of, damn, that's a lot of money. But never once have I changed a bid since I've knew and have a structure to why I charge what I charge per hour for whatever service it is, or whatever we're coming up with, what we're putting a price on. I've not ever said, damn, that's a lot, I'm going to change my price.
Yeah.
You know,
Well, I mean, especially as the business owner, I can imagine there's a little bit more connected to the idea that, like, and as a smaller business, if it's just one person or one and a helper, it's like I am the business. So I feel like I am doing something to the consumer, meaning like Wayne, am charging Miss Smith X dollar instead of Wayne's lawn service charging. So
yes,
maybe part of that for Austin or people that have that mindset could be have a little bit of a psychological disconnect between like you as the owner and then the business. Like, hey, me as the owner, not that you would say this, but like, yeah, I would love to go out and cut everybody's lawn for free and be everybody's friend and give them high fives and free tag alongs or whatever.
right.
But as the business, the business over here that is separate from me can't survive like that. So I, as the business owner, need to manage the business in order for the business to survive. So this is what it's going to take. So maybe some like psychological separation there between the two things.
Between yourself and the business providing the charity work. Corey brings up a good point here. He says you can also join the snow and lawn care for troops. What's it, Evergreen?
Mm-hmm.
God, I can't think of the. Come on,
Project Evergreen.
Project Evergreen. Yeah, if you want to do some donate and give
Yeah.
back and feel good, there's your opportunity to do that. Thanks, Corey, for that reminder there. But yeah, Project Evergreen is a place to, if you want to do the feel good things. So,
Or take X% of your uh, profit per job or profit per year and say, hey, I'm donating it to the local whatever this year for Thanksgiving, for Meals on Wheels, or like, but you do that and you can donate more by being a better business and making more profit.
yes. Let's see. Mike's talking, Daniel, it's pretty much what you're saying too. He said, and Mike said, it's important to remember there's two entities, even when solo, you and the business.
Yeah.
So and I think that's really the point you're making here: segregate you from the business,
Yeah.
and then it's the business doing it, not you doing it.
Yeah.
And that's really solid advice from both of you guys. So, God, it's hard to believe we're up on the 11 o'clock hour, man. I'm not even going to get into that next one. I'm going to save it for Friday because it's something I want to talk several minutes about anyway. So, Hey, I appreciate all your input today from all you guys. As always, I appreciate your time. Stay tuned here to Turfs Up Radio all day long. And gosh, Daniel, can you believe it? It's already
Hard to imagine.
hard to imagine 11 o'clock almost here on Eastern Standard Time. So you guys have a great day. Appreciate you listening to us here on Turfs Up Radio on Profit Time. And remember, profit is not a dirty word.